Hot. Hi, this is Carissa Marie, and I have Mr. Andre Martin here, and we are just getting started. And so I know a lot of you are going to join us as you kind of come in, and so we may, some things may be repetitive later on. But hello, happy Friday! Woo-hoo! We
Hey,
made it to the
hey, happy Friday.
I'm so excited. I have to admit, Andre, a lot of days like yesterday, honestly, if I'm being real, I thought it was Friday. I thought Friday was yesterday because, and I'll go a whole day until like, oh no, wait a minute, I didn't do it live. I'm like, oh yeah, it was Thursday. So I have Mr. Andre Martin here with me, and Andre, let me tell you. Okay, so Andre and I have been friends since high school. Isn't that
Amen.
crazy? That's going a long ways
Amen.
away, way back. That's like over 30. Okay,
You don't have
anyway, it's
to.
up there.
No, yeah, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Yes, it really is. And proudly, yes, it is.
Okay, we have to wear that probably, but so and Andre's I can't explain Andre. Andre is so even as a child. Okay, he was so encouraging, honestly, really wise for his age. Really, I always thought so, and just funny. And my parents loved Andre. All right, and he just like, and so I was just, I thank you for being my friend, and a friend that might have, Michael likes you too, and that's saying a lot, like that's saying a lot. But Andre has always been like, it doesn't matter how much time goes by, because we haven't seen each other because we've grown up and we've gone our separate ways. We've gone and lived our lives. And here it is years later, and we can just chit chat like we just saw each other in the high school hallways. Just, and
Right.
it's crazy.
Which we used
Although
to
we're
do a
much
lot.
smarter now. Yeah, and greater now. But some things have changed, but the love is always still there. So Andre, hi.
Yes.
So
Hi
tell me
there.
just a little bit about yourself, like where you at and what's happening, and we'll start there. Just a little about you.
Sure. First, and for all of her viewers, just so you know, so Carissa looks the same as she did when we were in high school. Oh my gosh, you guys, listen, if I broke out some pictures, because we used to have a lot of fun, we really were close friends. And we saw each other through a lot of situations. She's shaking her head, no, but
I don't look the same.
if you can see it, trust and believe. Anyway, I'm gonna keep moving, but we know it's true. So, wow. So what's going on now? So, I'm in Indiana, and I am married with two teenage. Well, they were teenage children. Oh my gosh. And I'm so proud of them. We'll get there. In fact, I'm kind of representing. Right behind me, there is a congrats banner.
I
Congrats, great.
see.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm representing. This is my youngest child of two now is going off to college in August next month. So we're glad about
Wow.
that. And so when we talk
Congratulations.
about the prom stuff, yeah. In fact, I'll just kind of jump there because I'm so excited about this. So
Empty
um
nester. How about that?
listen, um, I'm live. I can't be too excited about that. Yes, that's gonna be an interesting experience. Yes, we're getting ready for that.
Yes, yes, I
But
feel you.
I'm so proud of my young people because each of them graduated before they finished high school with their diploma. They graduated with their associates.
Wow.
So yeah. So she
Good.
doesn't know that I'm representing with the banner behind me now. So yeah, so
Aw.
that's great. Yeah. So I career wise, interesting. And Carissa, I thought about this week, and I kind of blame you for some of
What
this where I am now.
already? I've been trying to stay out of trouble this week.
Too late, because I thought, well, so how do I explain what I do? And I thought I have to go back to where it started. So you might remember that when we were in school, it's like out the blue. I remember I'll never forget the conversation because out the blue, you're like, you should do something to help people. I was like, what are you talking about? Why would I do that? You're like, because you talk to people so well and you like do this great counseling and you've got this wisdom and blah, blah. Of course, as 16, 17, I'm like, whatever, yeah, okay. But we
Really?
talk all the time. So I ended up doing just that. I tried something else, thought I was gonna
Wow.
be this great lawyer. And after the first year, I was like, I hate it, and my heart was really pulled to help people. And so I went from that to counseling. And I, interestingly, now supervise the counseling and the case management staff at a work release facility. So we help guys who are finishing up their prison terms, and we help them to get engaged in the community. So reentry, we help them get jobs, we help them get back to their families, we help them learn about banking, anything you can think of, that we help them with all aspects of their lives. So
That
I've
is
got a
so
lot.
good.
Yeah, it's challenging, but I can't tell you how rewarding it is just to see. I have some guys that I've worked with, and it used to be when I first got in this business 20 so years ago, that I had people that were nonviolent, they hadn't been involved in a lot. Now I have anybody and everybody. So some people have been incarcerated for 2 years, some have been incarcerated for 25 years. And I've seen people since I've been in it for so long turn their lives around. So to where I have business owners, I have my greatest story is for Christmas. One of my guys who had been with me for 2 years came back to my facility, and he had parked in front of the facility his fleet of trucks from his business and his employees staying there to wish me a Merry Christmas, to say, hey, you know what you do counts. So you know it's so
How do
rewarding.
you not like cry every day? I mean, like that's so because think about how I think, and that's the missing key, and I don't want to get too political, but in other countries, they spend a lot of time talking about reform, and you can't just throw people back in. You have to help them find a new way. And so I think this is brilliant and wonderful, and it should be a model for all states to do. I wish it were.
Well, we're working on it. We're working on that. And I'm working
Mhm.
on some things along that very same line. You're absolutely right. Yeah. So you said, how do I not cry every day? Well, at the same token, I still have to crack a whip every now and then and say, hey, come on, guys, let's get together. So
Yeah.
it definitely balances, but there are a lot of tearful moments. I can tell you that for
Mhm.
me and for them as well. I used to keep a box of tissue on my desk. I go through tissue too quickly now, so now I had to keep rolls of toilet paper. That's the funny thing. I promise you the truth. So imagine these men sitting here in this
I
office, right? We're
know.
like,
I know you. That's why I thought, how does he do this then without some tissue? Because
hey, wait
I
a minute,
mean, I'm just saying,
Carissa.
I just know things. I know you're very, like you're a caring individual. You know what I mean? But, yeah. But I
Don't get my
see,
man card revoked on live TV, Carissa.
huh?
Don't get
What?
my man card revoked on live TV. I'm just saying.
No, no, no. No, it takes a man. No, let's. Anybody hear that? No, it takes a man. Okay, listen.
Hey,
Okay,
hey.
that's right. But no, you know
But
what? Yeah,
seriously,
yeah. I think it's
yeah,
good
and that's part
for
of it.
other young men to see a man feel because and it helps them rewrite how they think about things too, and maybe how they navigate the world too. Andre Martin.
So that's interesting. You're giving a lot of segues. I'm kind of trying not to speed through things right
I
now, but
know. Okay, so
yeah,
all right, so yeah, it is a lot. So you
it is.
are on a book writing journey, and by the way,
I am.
congratulations. And I know it's going to be full of interesting things, inspiration, funny things, all kind of things, life stuff. So, like, what started you? What made you think to do this? What started you on this journey?
All right, diving right in.
Sorry.
So interestingly, interestingly, I'm actually writing two books. And it wasn't even something I thought to do. It just kind of happened that way. So I told you that I'm married. We have two young people. They're not children anymore. Two young adults. Well, so and I have to give a shout out to my family and to my lovely wife. Hey, babe, thank you for
Yes,
being who you
hey,
are.
hey. Thanks for having hang out with me. By the way, and I miss seeing you guys, but we'll come back to that. That's you. That's not you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry about
That's
that.
okay.
Sorry, guys. Gosh, technical difficulty. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Okay, and now I'm disconnected somehow. It doesn't. It figures. Um, how
But
to get it
the
back?
good
I
news,
don't know.
I can hear you okay.
Can you hear me? Because I can't hear you
I
now.
can hear you. You can't hear me?
Okay, I can hear you. Let's go back. Okay.
Power off.
All right. So I'm gonna try one more thing. Sorry about that. Give me one more chance
You're
here.
fine. I'm making sure my volume is off right now. Speaking of which, see, I just got lucky
Right,
before you that time.
right,
Can you
right.
hear me okay?
I
Oh,
can
yeah.
hear you. I just can't. Yeah, I can hear. Okay, I'm gonna try
Okay.
something else. Let me put my earbuds in real quick. Um, as I'm going kind of through this segment.
And while you're doing that, so the fun thing about doing this with you, Andre, because you're not on social media, but people from school were excited that you were coming on because you're not. We can't see you on like Facebook and Instagram, and so like I've been getting messages, Andre. I'm like, yeah. They're like Martin. I'm like, yeah, that one, that one.
Wow, that's. Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah. Uh
Okay, that's funny. I do laugh sometimes when I go. I guess people just think, man, did he fall off the grid? Is he off the earth? What happened to this dude? Where is he? What's the deal? Then I think nobody's looking for you. What are you talking about? And I move on. So wow. So hey guys, for those that I've been missing.
huh. On. See, if you were on social media, you would see, like Kyra said, hey guys. Anyway,
That's why.
so
Anyway,
we're
okay.
gonna work our way. We're gonna change that hopefully.
Right.
What's your book coming out? But anyway, but tell me about your books. You have two.
Right. Okay. So here's what happened. So like I said, I talked about being married. Well, we went through a difficult time of marriage.
Mhm.
And so we know the statistics that half marriages in our nation, they end in divorce. And we came into our marriage really, really heart set on not, not resolving, not divorcing, not leaving, and none of that. Was, hey, we are in this to win it, and we're gonna stay there. And
Mhm.
challenges came, and we separated. And we separated, and eventually we thought to that. Actually, the separation wasn't an intended separation. It was, we thought we were divorcing at that point. And we were separated for 5 years. And people say, okay, well, what took you so long to get divorced? Well, we didn't know then, but it wasn't over. It just
Yeah.
wasn't over. And um, we have to thank God first, but I have to thank my wife for being somebody who is loving and caring and sticking in it. But honestly, Carissa, neither one of us had the intention of remaining married. That wasn't even the intent. We
Mhm.
were just slowful at getting paperwork done and at making things happen. We were still in the process, trying to make decisions on how this was going to work and how to, because we were when we separated, we went different ways, different states, 800 miles apart. So that's a lot to consider when you think about children and family and
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah.
And to fast forward through that, miraculously, and I say miraculously because that's what it was for both of us, for all of us, including our young people. We were talking about some things, co-parenting, because we did co-parenting very well. We did that with no problem for the most part. And one day, in the midst of a conversation, it was like,
why aren't we together? What are we doing? What had happened in those 5 years was I allowed God to work on me, and she did the same. And little did we know, without any intention, that our hearts were brought back together. And it became a very public thing about us getting back together. And people were so astounded, that not well, first they were amazed that we separated in the first place. They were like, never would have thought that, because just.
I agree. I concur.
But when we, yeah, see, well, because you were at the wedding, you know us,
yeah.
so.
Yeah, I was
like. Right.
Yeah.
As was everybody. Everybody was like, I don't understand what happened. You were just with us last week, And but when we got back together, it was like that same response magnified like by 10, 15, 20 times, and I realized, hey, with the rate of divorce, you don't hear about what happens when it doesn't happen. You don't hear about what happens when there's a reunion and when hearts actually come back together. And so I just started journaling. And as I started journaling, I realized this is more than a journal. And so it became a book kind of talking about this miraculous thing of it's not over until God says it's over, And so that's some of the journey that happened there. And in the process, as I was doing that, so we talked about the work that I do with guys and with men along the way, because I'm very involved in my church, I'm very involved in my community, in my children's school. The work that I was doing there, I realized as I'm writing about us and about this marital relationship, a lot of the stuff about me and my manhood, my journey into manhood, was coming out. And it was like, but this can't, this isn't the place for this. This isn't, I'm talking about marriage, I'm talking about relationship. Now I'm talking about things that are man to man, things that are, one to one. And I realized it's not just one book. There are two. Because in order to talk about this evolution that happened in my life, I have to talk about the personal journey for the evolution. And so
5 years.
They're going hand in hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm mad at you now because when I had that ladies' date for men, we talking about married men, marriage. Listen.
Yeah.
You should have been here. But this is like, but Andre, I'm so, number one, I'm so happy for the both of you. And you and I think this is probably therapeutic for you. Am I wrong? Because you're
absolutely right.
You know what I mean? You're letting it out in a productive way, and someone's going to benefit from this. But for me, as a friend on the outside, because no one knows what's going on in someone's marriage, or you know what I mean? Because no one should be knowing anyway. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I'm just going to say for a lot of us, we were shocked because we saw the beauty in the union. You know what I mean? And honestly, as a sister, I was kind of like, oh, he's in good hands, and just kind of go along merrily, not thinking, taken for granted. You know what I mean? And I feel terrible because we get so busy living our lives that we don't check in like we should. And as and I feel, in fact, as I'm talking about it, I'm not gonna cry. Child, I ain't gonna cry on my live.
We're not crying. We're not crying. We're not crying.
However, I feel in my heart, I feel like a pain, kind of like, and guilt. Like, I wish I had known my brother was going through this. You know what I mean? All this, but I too, and again was because nothing is smooth in life. Like the fairy tales are just not how it is, because life happens and we are people, and then we grow and then we change, and then we expect our mate to be accepting of our changes. Like, this is me now,
right.
Okay? Listen, and but who are you? So there's so much to it, and so I feel as a friend, I'm grateful that we're able to reconnect, and also that, gosh, dude, your family got together and you got to see together. That you got to be with your wife together and watch your family grow, and that's like awesome. And your kids grown
Absolutely.
now. I can't believe it. But anyway,
Listen. Right. And so the interesting thing is, no need to feel the guilt or anything like that, because the honest truth is, even the people that were closest that I spoke to every day really didn't have much of a clue.
yeah,
One, I'm just that kind of a private, personal, inside
yeah,
person, which is funny because that's so far from where we were growing up, right? We share just about everything,
yeah,
um, and I'm just not that, when it comes to terms. I mean, again, a lot of people shouldn't have too much knowledge of what's happening in your relationships, that kind of thing, because then you have trouble anyway. But it was so challenging as a man to go through and endure some of those things that it just wasn't shared, which is another reason for me to write this stuff, because the more that people learned that we had gotten back together and that our marriage, was strong again, then it was like, I got bombarded. How did you get past this? How did this happen? How did you work through this? How did this,
yeah.
and I was like, okay, all right. So here we go. So yeah, it is therapeutic. It's definitely therapeutic. And I'm still growing. We're still growing. I got a lot of work to do as a husband and dad, but working on it.
Yeah, I have to just point this out because Dominique said something I love. It just says, "And take me as I am. The fork and the road must meet up again to become one." I think that's beautiful. I just had to share that.
Ooh,
Isn't it?
ooh, I like that. I like that.
Ooh.
Dominique, I hope you haven't put any rights on that, copyrights on that, because it might show up in the book. I'm just saying. No, I'll give you credit. I'll give you credit.
Uh, no, I mean, yeah, that's powerful. So, okay, so we kind of talked about like what you're most proud of. But let's talk about that because they were once babies and now they're about to be out in the world. So, what are you most proud of?
And interestingly, so as I talk about our young people, because they are what I'm most proud of, but not just because of what they did, coming up in school and to get these degrees and they're working on that, but they're so rooted and grounded. It's so funny because I kind of look back at my high school years and my high school life, right? And I mean, we weren't bad kids, Chris. We didn't do a lot of stuff that some other people could have or whatever done, but I had my share of stuff that I didn't need to get into,
Yeah.
and I look at our young people and they don't even have much of a desire to be in the arena. Now, granted, the world has changed, and
Yeah.
our society is far different, which is even what becomes so concerning. Because some of the things that we used to do, if you do some of those same things now, the repercussions, or we used to like to go and dance, and today that can cost some people their lives if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, and they're just like, I'm fine, I'm cool. Now some of that is because the technology and everybody just sits at home with a phone or a laptop or whatever,
Yeah.
doing their thing, but just that they have the desire to succeed and achieve. And at that stage, I wasn't thinking like that. I was thinking fun, 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 fun. Yeah, stay out of trouble so you don't get in the way of other stuff. But that just gets the heart right there. I'm so excited about that. I'm so
It's
excited
funny
about
because I talk about that about Haley in that way, and Haley. So I have two different generations. So I have Haley. Yeah, we are crazy.
that.
I don't recommend doing that. People don't do that. It's
Do
confusing.
not.
Yeah, don't do that. So I have a Haley who is 29, and let me tell, she was so much more mature at certain stages of life than I was, and I'm like, I'm a pretty good parent. Okay, I'm just saying. I mean, it's kind of the same thing. Like her ideas of things and things that she wanted were just different than mine were. Like you're right. For us, it was
Yeah.
about fun. You know, what can we do? Let's learn how to drive so we can go drive to the
Right.
fun places. And
Right.
you don't want to learn how to drive. She was, in fact, she was at the point thinking, okay, I'm never going to be a good driver. And she drives, of course, now. But when we were living overseas and she was graduating, she said, "Mom, I think I'm just going to go to school in New York and I don't want to have to drive." Like, really?
Oh. Oh.
But I would have, because I was a young mother, I would have a lot of, stern talks with her about things. I didn't want her to fall into some traps that I did in my youth. And it will be honest talks. And then, of course, Michael came along. But before Michael came along, it was me and her. And also, I had something to prove to the world that I could raise a good citizen and good girl in this world. And so we talked about credit history. We talked about your social security number is like your baby and protect it with your life. And the girl is amazing in that area. We talked about saving. We talked about the freedom to do things that you dream of, things that my parents were a little bit not, they wanted to make sure that I could take care of myself. But they didn't want me to do anything too crazy, like, go to New York, study fashion. I think you make a living doing that. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. I remember that.
So I didn't have the same confidence that I tried to instill in these children. And then, so that was her generation. Now, Alonzo and Adira are a whole nother, I need a book. Okay. I just need a good book. Because, like Adira, we could be going to do something fun. And she's like, but she did that today. We were doing something
right
for NASA. We were gonna do this great big fun thing, and she's like,
"Yeah,
we just got there. Is it time to go back? Can I just do this from home? Because all they do is on their phone, and it's just maddening. I just can't stand it. So it's good to see.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So it's funny because, right, so first off, you talk about the driving issue. So I've got one, so where my daughter is just like head over heels, Kylie. She's ready to drive. I want it right now. Let's do this right now. Yes. And our son DeAndre is like, I don't need it. I'll be just fine without it. No issues, no worries. I'm thinking, but I don't understand. I couldn't wait.
Passage, right?
Right. It was like I was so ready. I remember like mom coming to pick me up when I was my 16th birthday, walking down the halls of Sexton. All right, hey J-Dubs, walking down the hallway of Sexton. She's and they're like, oh, sweet Jesus, I'm like, whatever. And there she is. He's like, okay, come and get your license. Yay, So I'm like, what do you mean you don't have to drive ever? It's like I can Uber or I can.
Wait, isn't that crazy?
What?
Alonzo straight up told me, Andre, and he's 14, but he's kind of a young 14. He'll be 15. And so because I know he learns things differently, and I don't want to be overwhelmed learning how to, because he'll be 15. That's when you start driver's lessons. So I got him a booklet, so we kind of look at it now. But he number one, he's announced that he doesn't want to adult. I said, you're going to adult whether you want to or not. I thought you want to adult. Who says that? He doesn't want any bills. He doesn't want to adult, and he doesn't want to drive. What's the point? Same thing. It's so different. It is so different.
It is. So I understand you saying needing a book. I get it. And for you to have that a whole younger generation, I don't know how. Listen, I know right now for me, I would just be lost in that one because I'm just like shaking my head, So, but again, on the flip side, like I said, that means that they don't necessarily want to do a lot of things that are outside of the realm of what I consider safety. So I'm like, hey, it works for me, So they're venturing out. But yeah, it's exciting. So yeah. And it's interesting now because I'm looking forward to helping them learn about the adulting now that they're college students and what it means to think about your finances. But it's so funny because I laugh because you talk about yours not like the exciting things. So I talked about, DeAndre. Well, my daughter Kylie, she likes the big pretty stuff, right? So it's like, okay, yeah, we can do that, but if we're gonna do that, how about we go always over the top, right? Always over the top. And I'm like, does it always have to be the most expensive thing in the most expensive way? Well, how about we add a trip to? Okay, all right, yeah. So she's destined to be the movie star. So you go right ahead, live that life, and take care of us. We'll love it. We'll love it.
What does she want to do when she goes to school in the fall?
Well, she really does want to go into acting, drama, and all that kind of thing. So we're looking forward to her, and she has it planned out. She has it mapped out. By this age, by this stage, I'm going to meet such and such actors, and then I'm going to meet this, and then I'm going to co-star with her on this, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and then by then I'll be on the screen, easy, no worries. So they'll know me, and then I'll be able to go back and play my TikToks of you dancing, and we'll be able to laugh at that. Okay.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Wait. Yeah, it is. It is. Don't go look for the TikToks behind you, by the way. Okay.
I can't make
okay. Yep. We're gonna move on. But
see, you saying that what she's going to go into is like something. Isn't that a beautiful thing that we can encourage our kids to do something artistic like that? Because I growing up, my parents were, even though I'm artistic, that's it for me. Like I'm just an artistic kid. And I wish I had waited so late to realize what am I doing trying to do anything other than that, you know what I mean? But
yeah.
To have your parent nowadays, we can say to our kids, yes, woman, yes, young man, you go to school and do that. And that's like empowering all in itself.
It is. It really is. It's fantastic. My son told me just the other day, I think it might have even been yesterday. He was like, because I told him we had some work. So after we get done with this, we have some work to go do at our church, right? And he was like, well, no, I wasn't going to do any work. Like this is vacation, summer break. I'm like, yeah, summer break, college students. He's like, that's why I chose the field of art. You don't understand. I'm going to work at my desk. And after that, then that's what it's going to be. And the rest is going to be chill time. I'm like, huh. Is that how that's supposed to work? How did I miss that? What did I miss?
Okay, so I have to tell you. So you got a shout out. So Bethany Thompson said, "That's my uncle. So proud of you, Uncle Andre. Your niece Bethany."
Bethany, thanks, Bethany. I appreciate you.
Andre has the same laugh. I remember spending time just laughing at the laugh. And, I think we would forget what we were laughing at, but it was just like.
So I don't know if you remember that high school, right? So you guys are getting these awards, best dressed and best this and best this. And I got best laugh. I was like, best laugh. I don't know how to feel about that, And the funny part about this is that, so my son, who's DeAndre, of Andre's, where it comes from, of course, so if you hear him laugh, you never forget it. You never forget it. So I'm like, oh, that's what they were talking about when I was in school. I see now. Now I get it. I get it. Yeah. So it's interesting. It's interesting.
So now, what have, and we kind of like, the questions are blending in because they're all kind of connected, but so what have, and I'll make this a two-parter. What have some of your struggles been? But then on the flip side, what about some of your triumphs?
So I'm actually going to even talk about some completely different struggles and triumphs. So I haven't mentioned this in the live yet, but in January, I was ordained in the ministry. And
yes, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm kidding. That's a joke.
Sense to me.
That's a joke from our church family. And again, Carissa, I'll never forget that we were at some concert where we went, and there was a little boy who was next to me. Huh?
Kirk Franklin?
Yeah, it was. You're absolutely right. Yes, you're right. and there was a little boy who was next to us, and he watched me like a good portion of the show, right? And at the end of that, you were like, "Oh, you have a gift. You have a gift. Look." And I of course, you know that I didn't grow up with siblings until I was much older. So the next brother is 12 years younger, and then so my dad did the same thing. So then my next brother and sister are beginning at 20 years younger, right? And so I was always like, kids, they're bothering me. Why are you around? But when you're like, and you're like, no, that's a gift that you really have to be careful. I'm like, yeah, no way. So, one of the struggles that I had was learning that the gift really was a call to ministry, and I always thought, okay, so ministry for me will be the stuff I do on the street, because I'll go up to some guys on the street or some people doing whatever, kind of like, hey man, let's have a conversation, let's talk. My son laughs at me because I'll never forget. So there was a situation where there was a car accident, and I think a young guy had got hit. He was on a bike or something, but so he's in the street. And first thing in my mind, I get out of my car and I run to him, and I kind of get down there. And because I was in a neighborhood where they didn't recognize me, I had on my work clothes and that kind of thing, so I know people were kind of trying to think that I was probably, somebody professional to kind of help out. So I get real close to him. Everybody moves. The crowd disperses. Everybody moves. And I get down to, I know they're like, thinking, am I going to do mouth to mouth? Or am I going to, perform whatever? And I go, hey, young man. He says, yeah. I said, can you move? He's like, no, I can't. Now tears are streaming down his face. He's got to be, a teenager, 18, 19. Tears are streaming down his face. And so I said, hey, are you saved? And he was like, no, wait.
He wasn't ready for that.
Wait, right. He's like, wait, who are you? So then, of course, I guess his parents or whatever kind of like, hey, are you not a doctor? I was like, no, no, I'm not a doctor, And so they were like, so they kind of looked at each other like, what? I know they had some choice words. And then it kicked in, and mom was like, no, buddy, you keep going. You go right ahead. So, they had me, I prayed for the young man. I left, and, so we laugh at those kind of things, but some of the struggle was being willing to be obedient and say yes, and realize that this isn't for me. It's not about me, and it doesn't mean that I have to be in a pulpit every Sunday, preaching and doing this kind of thing. I mean, now I have, not every Sunday, but I have done that, and I enjoy doing it. But I also realized that, again, just the answer to say yes was more of the answer to say, hey, you know what? There's more to your life than you being comfortable and enjoying it. More than getting nice stuff, more than just being the one that says, hey, I've got these degrees, and as a result of my degrees, and I've been able to do this, and, let me go ahead and live mine and shine, and, let me be great in my time, and I've kind of come to the point now to where I see, hey, the more I actually engage with in doing this work, the better life it gets to be. So again, you talk about challenges and triumphs. In that time frame, many things have happened again. So, we had a separation. I lost my mom, and those were some of the hardest, the most difficult things that I've ever had to try to live through, and work through, and people talk about, well, there comes a time you have to bounce back and you kind of have to do that. Well, that's easier said than done. And even when you are in it, sometimes you don't even really know that you're in it. You don't even know what it's like. Again, hence the books and hence the work that I do, because, you can be going through some really challenging times and you don't know it until your body lets you know. You start getting these signs or something happens where you go, hey, this isn't quite norm. I don't feel like I normally do. What's the it takes me a little longer to laugh, or, I don't eat the same or whatever. Or if you're like me, I just eat all the time, so it's like, hey, what's the deal? So so struggles, but then when you talk about triumphs, to come through some of that stuff and now be able to, when you lose someone that you love, it's never easy. And I can't say that, it gets to a point. I don't know if it ever gets to a point to where it's easy because I'm not there yet. But I can say that I have learned to make me stronger. And in that process, not only do I get stronger in it, but I also get to where, hey, I now people come to me and say, hey, you know what? We saw what happened at your mom's homegoing ceremony, or we saw what it was like for this and for that. How do you manage and how do you deal with, or just for them to know how close I was to mom and see me on my regular, and they say, but you're the same, you come to work and you smile every day, or you do whatever, and so I go, it really was a triumph because now I can look at things and I go, man, I have things where we just laugh. I say we, but I just laugh at certain things. Where I go, yeah, I know you'd be sitting back, going, okay, we did that one, and so, there are some major triumphs with situations like that. I'm thankful for, finishing school and getting my degrees and that kind of stuff. But for me, that kind of stuff has almost become secondary now because there's so much that I'm so excited and proud about. Now, granted, hey, I love JW Sexton. I love HU. Shout out to HBCUs. And if you went to one, congratulations. If you haven't, but you're thinking about it, congratulations. If you're doing your education wherever, great for you. And I say continue doing that. Please make yourself stronger because you never have any idea of where the things that you develop and pick up along the way are gonna, take you. And what's gonna, what you're gonna use those things for. Because I never would have thought that for now almost 25 years, I'd been in a place to where I'm, challenging men who have been in prison or who have been on the streets, selling drugs, toting guns, trying to take people out. I never realized I'd be, spending a good portion of my life saying, come on, man, there's something different than that. And they listen and turn it around. So you just don't know where that stuff's going to take you.
Because all these seeds were planted, like you said, you pick up different tools along the way. And back to your mom, so your mom and you were really close, and she was a ball of energy that I used to wonder, how is this possible? Like a ball of energy, but joy, like from way down deep, and it just radiated, and her smile. And I remember we talked about, when I think about Miracle Whip, I think about you because only like Andre likes the sweet of the Miracle Whip, or her like sending you things in the mail, food items.
Oh my God, Carissa.
Chicago, a grown man, but it's like she is just so loving. And then I think what she did too, and I'm sure you'll recognize this, she showed you, and that's where this comes from, Dre, which you already know this. But for those who don't know, she showed you how deep down joy that you have will work for you when you're in great pain. Because you know what I mean? Like, if you have that love for God that you have, and this deep joy in your heart that no one can take, and not just plain old happiness, I'm talking about joy down deep. Then you will be okay. It will not be easy, but you'll be. And your mom was just walking. She was just a walking ball of joy. You know what I mean? And
my God,
of course, you are. Of course, you know what I mean.
Carissa, so check this out, right? So, oh God, I got a funny story about you, but I won't tell that story about you while we're on live. I don't think, unless it comes back. But but so, in regards to her, right? So imagine her at 67, spending 4 hours in a gym every day. She had the young ladies who were in there, and I'll never forget, because she always, whenever I went home, she wanted to take me. She's like, oh yeah, you gotta come to the gym because I talk about my sons and this kind of thing, and they know about my younger son because he's here, but you're not. So so I would go, and I'm just like, I'm exhausted after like the first hour and a half, right? Hour and a half. I try to hang for 2 hours, I'm like, okay, well, I didn't got Come on, Carissa. Come on, hang with me now. Hang with me. So I really tried, man. But she would, So after a couple classes, I was just like, "You go right ahead," And the young girls were like, "Oh my God," they knew her by name. And one class she went into, and she arrived there late because she was finishing up the other class. And they were like, "Geneva, where are you? We had your space." They had the front row for her. The instructors just like, "Okay, come on, let's get going." And I'm just like, "You've got to be kidding me. This woman is almost 70 years old and she's showing up these 22-year-olds, But yeah, so that, like I said, so now again, back to Triumph, right? I looked at that stuff and I laughed. I've told everyone who had a major loss that comes my way, you make it your business as often as you can, and I do it daily if I can. You find something that can remind you of the joyful times that you had, even if you had more difficult times. Think of the joyful ones and enjoy that. So, Carissa, do you remember? I got to put you on Front Street a little bit. Do you remember? Do you remember? Okay, so we used to have game night when we were in high school sometime, and so
I was intimidated by game night. But go ahead. I'm like, I'm not
yeah. I could tell, right? Which I didn't know that. I had no idea because hey, friends were coming over, we were enjoying it, and we used to play win, lose, or draw, and some other things, that kind of thing. But this one was kind of like charades, but you kind of had to describe what you were talking about, And Mom was an elementary school teacher, and so she was like, so she was trying to get you to say bingo. Do you remember that time? Yeah. And so she kept singing the song. She was like, and what's his name? Oh, and you're like, I had to tell that story. I know. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's so funny is I'm still funny about games because I get nervous. And you know what's so crazy? And it's like, that was the easy one, right? But I had already worked myself up into a tizzy. Like, okay. I'm like, I know a thing. Oh, boy. And please don't do trivia. Oh, I'm like, oh. So, like, and I've had friends here say, we should go to your house. We could have game night at your house. I'm like,
well, I learned
the punch. You guys can come have game night, and I'll just
Well, I learned when you never came back after that, and I was like, oh, maybe game night isn't for her so much. And Mom was like, no, I love her like she's my daughter, but yeah, that's not her. I was like, okay, well, all right, I'll have to get another partner.
And plus, too, Andre, she's a teacher too, so all those things combined made me feel like, oh my Lord, I got to get it right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the funny part, is because she was a teacher, everybody always felt like, now she's gonna be the teacher and you gotta come and get this stuff. And so that's why I was really like, oh, come on, Chris, we got this one, we can do it. She was like, so yeah. Yeah, we had some fun. I
love your mom. She was just so funny. But I mean, you guys are like images of each other. It's just so funny to me. Okay.
Yeah, so, it's
she she made things fun. I think if I were in a room, if I were a little kid, I would love her as a teacher. She would engage me. If I were just sitting in a corner looking like, woe is me, I don't know, bingo, she would come over.
Right. She would bingo. Made me lose my earpiece.
She would explain to me the game of bingo. Anyway, so
right.
And so, You are. Oh, I'm showing my nails. I said I wasn't going to show my nails. You are. It's good, and I see. You know how when we have people close in our life and they pass, but you can see them in someone. I can see her all in you. You know, so
Oh wow.
I
Wow.
mean,
So,
us,
you know, I have to really give credit to where credit is due, because between her and my dad, it's so funny now because people who really knew my mom well, we're like, oh yeah, wow, you guys are spitting image, and I mean, physically as well as just kind of, and now that I've gone, yeah. So now that I've gone in kind of into this next stage of my life, people are like, oh my God, because my dad's a pastor. He's a pastor in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in fact, his church was just recently here with our church here in Indiana. And it's so crazy because people are like, so when he talks and you talk, some people were behind, they were in a different room. And I can hear him going, they didn't know that I was actually close to the door, but they were like, is that Andre or his dad? Who's that? What's going, and so it's
wow.
So it's just kind of crazy.
Around your dad, just so I can I need to. I want to feel that because I grew up knowing your mom and your stepdad was dad. Your other dad.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And,
and he was a wonderful guy too. But so I want to see all the things, all the places that made Andre.
And that's what really gets to be interesting, because so you mentioned my stepdad. I don't know if you remember in high school how we had names for people's parents, and I could call out some of our high school friends who gave them Jason Hall. I'll never forget, because there was some people who just kind of did that kind of stuff, and you might recall that. So my mom, we called her, they called her Sweet G, because her name was Geneva, Sweet G. And then, so my stepdad, Ted was his name. So, and if you remember him and who he was, Ted Martin, so Martin, but he was cool Ted. And so, it's funny because as I look at these entities, it's so amazing how we don't really know how we impact people's lives. We just don't know the fingerprint that you put on somebody else, so it's crucial how you engage and interact with people, because you don't know good or bad, you just don't know what you're doing. And it's so funny because sometimes I'm like, let's see, so mom was a teacher and educator, I do that. And stepdad or dad, cool Ted, was the counselor and the addictions counselor. Okay, I do that. And dad in Tanae in Georgia, he's a pastor, and I don't really want to do that part out of the ministry, the pastor, and he can keep that. But, the further I go, stop the face, the further I go, the closer that kind of stuff comes. Right. Yeah. Thank you. Much better. Thank you. But yeah, it's just, it's amazing to watch that. So yeah, the rest of your interview should be just like that.
I can't do it. My face can tell for myself. I can't even control it. It's not me. It's not my fault. I can't help it.
Yeah. You've always been
all
there.
parts of your parents. That's the bottom line. Like, you have all the pieces to all your parents. That is
not to mention my granddad. If you remember my granddad, who was a little short guy, that was just he was, he commanded the room. He commanded the room. I don't care where you were, and you kind of put all those things together and you go, wow, this is how we become who we are. So so I'm very grateful to be able to have those experiences to make the difference in my life. Yes.
So because in order to have those experiences and get through things, we have to take care of ourselves. So let's talk about how you love yourself and what do you do for self-care. You know what I mean? And that could be anything from journaling to anything. Like, what do you do to take care of yourself to move on every day?
Good question. So I'm going to start off with not necessarily the most positive thing, as some people would say, but I haven't grown out of my love for chocolate and ice cream. Listen.
profile. Well, hey,
Okay.
I feel I like the gummy bears. I don't do chocolate still. I still don't like chocolate. But okay, chocolate. And what was the other thing you said?
Ice cream. I just bought some today.
What?
Got to have the. Huh? What happened? No. Can you hear me now?
What? I can hear you.
Oh no! I said ice cream. I just bought some today.
Oh yes. Okay.
Ice cream. You might remember I used to eat big huge bowls of it for dinner sometimes, and it was just great. So okay. So those are the guilty pleasures, right? Okay. I had to get them out of the way because anybody that knows me knows I like to eat, but I'm not the only one that likes to eat.
Well, some things have changed due to like.
I'll just move on.
I love a good meal, okay? But I just can't get down like that anymore because I'm like you, Andre. Things stick, and I'm a woman, and I'm mad at that. I am like, that is so unfair. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But yeah, so I can't. I have to kind of chillax a little bit, go small.
Yeah. I do understand. Well, I will say this, right? So I do exercise. And I've really gotten to where I really enjoy it. In fact, so back to mom's exercise thing, I started a spin. I won't call it, well, kind of a spin class. I do that too, but I've kind of started this whole spin. I've always loved to bike ride. I did that as a teenager and all the way through. But we had this thing where they were asking us to come to our church and spin, and I'm like, that's a ladies' activity. I'm not going to do that. You see ladies going, ooh, spinning, ooh, yeah, and I was like, no. I'm sorry. That's just how I saw it. That was all I saw. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. They were like, well, just come and just join one of the classes, right? So I was like, whatever. And then, so wife and daughter going, so I'm like, all right, so let me go ahead and do. And I really got into it. I really enjoyed it. My wife still says that I really didn't do much spinning at all, but whatever. Anyway, so so I really enjoyed it. And so later I ended up getting a bike. And so I did it on my own. Now I got mom's bike. And so now I really love it. But I do that, I exercise, I lift, I do different types of things like that. I do that several times a week. Even if it's sometimes midnight or, 2:00 in the morning. And you have to find I know that I have to find things that help to free your mind, your emotion, because there's a lot of, especially when you're engaging with people on a regular basis all day, every day, you just need to be able to just breathe, relax, relate. So you talked about journaling. Absolutely. I've got, and I laughed at myself the other day because I looked around, I'm like, oh, there's one and there's one. Oh, wait, I got one up there. Oh, yeah, the kids bought me that one. I started in this one. They're all over the place because I find that in talking to people so much all the time, that a lot of my time is spent in my personal time where I have to deal with what's in my head, and I have to find a way to vent that and vent it in the appropriate way, and I talk about being a Libra and being balanced, right? And I don't really, do astrology, all that kind of stuff. But the one thing that when people ask you, what's your sign? I always go, balanced. Yeah, I'm well balanced. I try to do that. But what I find is that because I do so much external, then when I really have the time to do the internal, I really, really enjoy that. I really enjoy that. So those are kind of some of the ways that I find. And you know what? And we get away. We vacation. A lot of people, you do what you can to save up and to, do things so that you're comfortable and all that. But we like to enjoy life right now while you can. So get a chance to get out and do that, so we've been to several different places and looking forward to doing much more. So yeah, I look to do things that kind of keep you healthy and youthful and, enjoying life and all that. I still like to dance. My wife says I can't, but that's because she's a dancer. So what she says doesn't really count. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, that's not fair.
I mean,
she's a dancer. She's dancing.
Right. How can you kind of compare that to the regular person who would just hey, do what you do, you know what I'm saying? So hey, she's like, you can't do anything, you still look like you're in church dancing. Really? Really?
As long as Trey, you're not doing the two-step, like the daddy two-step, then you're doing something if you're doing more than that.
Listen, the daddy two-step is just to get started. If Brian Brown, our other buddy from high school, was on the line right now, he would tell us that the daddy two-step was the cool down dance. That was, you get cool and then you go back to it, Yeah. So I got a little bit more up my sleeve than that.
Speaking of dancing, and that's another thing too. I miss. Because I do. People don't know the thing about me. I mean, parts about me, but I did ballet until I was in my 20s. I started at 5, yes, and I didn't stop until in my 20s. And Claudia said, "Hey, Andre." Kyra said he can't dance, and Tasha said, "Love it." Oh, remember Tasha and Claudia? Okay, so anyway,
yeah, right.
So I for me, when we were in our youth and dancing, because you and I and Brian, our little clique would stay on the dance floor. We would stay on the dance floor, honestly, because I wasn't really much into anything else. But dancing was
Thank you.
Yeah, we were the stuff, Kyra. Kyra, we could dance, girl.
Thank you. People are still they're like, nah, I don't know. I was like, no. We used to go to the center of the dance floor and be sure. Okay. Listen, we do you. I don't know if you remember. People used to pull us to the side and be like, man, y'all did that. Oh man, you guys. Oh man, you did. And we were like, yeah, we got. You know what I'm saying? So, people are like, well, you get.
And, so speaking of self-care, okay, so I didn't stop dancing, like, even in that way. Like, when we were living overseas, I found a group of ladies. We would work together by day, but then on the weekends, we were all dancing machines, like all of us. And we were all different. Countries. Like, so I was American, and then I had my Belgian friends, and then I had my Spanish friends, and we were on the floor. Wow. We were doing it, right? So I still did that. So I have to say, self-care for me, I miss moving like that because it's an expression for me that I miss. And I mean, I can't explain how much I loved to dance. In fact, I think I'm Janet Jackson. Right.
Well,
when it rains,
I'm gonna say
when it rains, my knees are like, lady, sit down somewhere.
Yeah, I don't think that Janet has those kind of issues during her performances in the rain, but
It's just, Andre, you're not on social media, but let me tell you, just last week she was on social media stretching. This girl's older than us. All right, she was stretching and had done a split on the floor, just stretching, just not even thinking anybody's like filming her. And I'm like, how the heck she get her legs to do that? It's amazing, but I miss that sort of type of self-love for me, and I haven't found a replacement. Another thing I would like to do that I did in my when that phase of our life stopped, I would engage in like salsa because I could still.
Oh, nice!
The feeling of that is so great, and I even talked Michael into 1 or 2 classes, But Michael, who used to be a dancing king, right, back in the day,
right?
And we're just kind of home. Obviously, we're homebodies. We don't do that anymore at all. And if we're in an environment, like we went on a cruise back in 2019 before the crazy, and he had taken all his pills so he could move because he got back pain because that's what happens when you get old. And we were on the floor. I'm like, okay, he still got it. But it's funny because I have to work. I'm still, and that's why I like to ask this question of my guests, because I'm still kind of looking for new ways for self-love for me. You know what I mean? Like, because I have to replace it with something. So I got a dog for selfish reasons because I don't exercise really per se. Dance was my exercise.
She said per se.
Like,
I don't know if there's any per se with that.
I don't really like to sweat. You know what I'm saying? I don't find joy.
That hasn't changed.
I just kind of like go to the gym and what we do at the gym. But before the cruise, I was on a mission way back. I was like, and I am kind of like focused when I have a goal to achieve, then I'm all about it. But it's just this one machine that I get on and that's it. But I have to work on personally finding. That's why I like to hear from you guys what you do, because I need to find something. Like right now, so I got a dog, I got a puppy, and that was kind of crazy. I'm a germaphobe. Who does that? Who is a germaphobe?
I don't know.
Goes to buy? So I need counseling. But anyway,
I don't know. And definitely, Carissa, I don't know how you thought that getting a dog was going to be self-love. So now I got something else to take care of. I got something I got to feed. I got something that has to go to a doctor. I got to clean up behind you. That is not self-love. What are you talking about? Self-love. That's
okay. I have to walk the dog. And also, so I have to do something physical. So I figured I would get the dog, and as I get older, it'll get older. Too. It'll be my buddy, and the kids will eventually leave the house. Eventually one day, and then I will have the dog. But dogs are a lot of work. Let me just say. But I'm not. He's with me for life. He costs too much, dang, like $3,000, Dre. Who does that? So now I'm like, you gonna with me until you die, dog. I don't care about I'm not. But I tried. You know what I did? This is terrible. I should be ashamed of myself. So I was doing really good when we first got the dog, right? But as the kids get older, I'm like, they need to be shown some responsibilities, right?
Well, I'm going to tell you, that's where I would have started.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to, I was really trying to do this thing where I was going to get this. That was stupid. Okay, there's no other word for it. But anyway, so I do walk the dog in the morning. And that's me. I walk the dog first thing in the morning. But all the other times of the day, that's the children. The children. Hey, it's your turn. It's your turn. It was your turn last time. It's your turn. And I figured they can do that because they'll be leaving me. Eventually, it'll go back to me. But I need to find other stuff, Dre. I don't know what else to do. Like, I used to love to draw. I don't, but my children are amazing artists. It's freaky how good they are. But I don't love to do that. I used to love to write poetry, and now my head is too cluttered with news and what's going on in the world. I can't find the space to be that creative. And so I'm still like on a mission to find my thing. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you this. So I've always been kind of the thrill seeker. I love roller coasters and that kind of fun stuff. But now, don't cringe. Come on, that's the great.
No, that's like, you're about to die, but you're gonna get on that thing anyway. Okay, anyway, but go ahead.
So then I guess that you wouldn't be talked into doing this kind of stuff. So we recently ziplined. Oh, Carissa, talk about. And so, and we just did, well, can be crazy. So we just did the smaller stuff. We actually went to Vegas, right? So we went over like the hotels and kind of over, the street that people are walking. And that was great. But now I'm like really excited about doing it, like over mountains and over areas, over coastal areas and all that kind of stuff. Oh yeah. Skydiving. Oh yeah. So self-care, self-love. Yep. The stuff that keeps you young and vibrant and excited and rejuvenated. Woohoo!
Yeah, no. In fact, no. I don't understand. In fact, we're thinking about going to Busch Gardens, and that's no big deal, right? But they have rides and stuff, and I feel bad because I think my children are like that now because of me. But I can barely do what is that thing like the Ferris wheel? I can barely do a Ferris wheel because the feeling of coming down feels like I could fall out or something, right? So to get on a roller coaster and on purpose have your heart beat like you could possibly have a heart attack, like, but you got in that line on purpose. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
like,
that's the point.
That is not living. That's almost dying every time. What you talking about, Will? I don't understand. What do you mean?
That's the point. And the exciting part about it, because, it's controlled. So, you're not going to die. Most of us don't. You're not going to die. And it's only going to last for so long. So it's great. But once you find the excitement in it, you won't turn back. I promise you. You won't stop. Because it's like, so we were, funny thing about my pastor, we were going to the music park this summer. And he's like, no, not for me, not for me, not for me. And he said, I finally found the way to do it. You just scream your way through it, and we're like, yes, that's exactly that's the fun part. Look, think of all that you release, all the endorphins you release, all that excitement that you just, and you do it. Carissa, you're missing out. You know what? We need to have family vacations. And
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Hey, I feel like I'm about to die. But you know what I do like, and this is funny because I like in our family, and I'm the adventurous one. So you try to talk my husband into that, that's gonna be funny. But I do like a good car race, like go-karts. I like to kick people's butt in those. Like I'm a little bit when it comes to that kind of thing, I'm competitive. And my daughter is too, I'm realizing, like Haley, not Haley, I get that's my oldest, but Ajira is really competitive too. And what's so funny is Michael and Alonzo are they're more very controlled and very careful, right? Which is the opposite of me in most situations.
Right.
So we went for the first time last summer we went to this place and they got big go-kart courses. Like it was a dream come true. Like I was like, oh, right. And so we got on the smaller one at first to kind of, Ajira rode with me, and Michael and Alonzo rode together. And Ajira, I said, listen, just make sure your seatbelt on good, girl. Okay, just make sure your seatbelt on. And so I barely use the brakes at all. You use brakes, go around corner. No, I didn't. Brake for what? I was flying, and we like lapping around Michael and Alonzo a couple times. And Michael's driving like, and I love Michael. Oh my God, he's so funny. But he drives like an old man.
Carissa.
He doesn't do highways, or he avoids them when all possible. He doesn't like speed. I like, and so for me, that is a release. Like, and Ajira was like, we were both like, whoa, right? Whoa. So the next one, I said, okay, you can drive your own car now, right? And come on, Alonzo, come on, Michael. And Alonzo's like, I'll pass. Like,
yeah, we can't do the family vacation thing then, because you guys would be like, yeah, you guys just keep all the things we be doing. You'd be like, nah, you guys go ahead. We'll find something else to do. Because even my daily driving, I'm not going to say I'm working on it. I should be working on it, but I am. Both of us, myself and Kyra, we are fast drivers. And so when you talk about go-kart, so you talk about go-karting, right? I'm thinking you're talking about the high speed, the electric ones. They're like indoors where you have to have a driver's license. Have you raced those?
No.
Oh, yes. Yes, there are some when you have to have a driver's license. They go that fast for this high speed.
Oh, I gotta get on that. Yeah, I gotta do that.
Talk about Raise your blood pressure. There you go. Do that one.
See, I don't know why that's different for me because I'm on the ground. Maybe that's what it is. But like
Oh.
I'm not like a I used to be a speedy driver, you know what I mean? But now I try not to get tickets.
No, you weren't. No, you weren't. No, you weren't. No, you weren't.
I'm pretty good.
No, you weren't.
I mean, you're crazy, so that doesn't count. You're like I'm normal, like you know what I mean. Like, I kind of don't like I don't get tickets. Okay, I don't like to break the rules. You know, like I just don't like to do that. But I also don't like to drive like my husband either. Like I like to get there in 1 hour instead of 2 or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so there's that.
I feel like if it takes an hour, something's wrong. And I actually live in Indiana and I work in Chicago, right? So my drive is legitimately over an hour. Yeah, I work to shave that time off daily. I'm just saying.
But I don't know if I told you. Now we're getting off anything. That's because we haven't talked in so long. But
right.
I took a girls' trip with Adira and Haley to New York. Haley had something going on, and she needed me to go and pick her up. Anyway, it was just kind of a nice, cool kind of thing for just the girls. And you know, so let's think. I don't like people breaking rules. Okay, so let's just keep that in mind. And I'm very kind. I'm very nice until anything looks like it could impact or hurt or harm my family. Then something, I don't know what happens. Something jumps inside of me that causes me to do and behave a way I don't even recognize myself. So anyway, so I had pulled in. New York is crazy, by the way. Don't ever drive to New York. That's just stupid. Don't do that.
Don't worry, never.
Yeah, don't do that. But I had to pull up to the curb and she had to get wheelchaired out, right? So she came out and the nurse put her in the car, and the car behind me, you know, you as a courtesy, you see the person coming out of a wheelchair, you just sit there and wait your turn, child. You don't be honking, don't do nothing stupid now. Don't do nothing stupid. Coming out, right? And so I was just got in the car and I turned a corner and now there's a big truck in front of me and we're just stuck in traffic and I'm just happily stuck. I've realized I can't get around this. I'm just gonna sit here and whatever. But the car behind me, that same one that was like kind of razzling a little bit, was started to like hit the horn and beep and you can see them in the window like
right. I
feel my blood pressure rising as I have my 2 seeds in my car. And then something crazy happens, Dre. I don't know if I told you this. I'm embarrassed. I can't believe I did this. This is in New York. Don't ever do this because it's stupid. So I put the car in park in the middle of traffic. And I got out of the car. I did. And I walked to the end of my car. And I told the person, "No, leave me alone! I got 2 and I became a crazy lady in traffic. I got out of my car in New York City. People I do not know. And then after I had explained so clearly to people behind me to leave me the heck alone, basically, I got back in my car, and if you remember Haley, she's very mild-mannered and very outspoken. She's that way as an adult, very controlled. And my youngest is, they're both looking at me like I have lost my mind because I did temporarily. They were just
You did.
I couldn't believe it. And I had no defense. All I can say is, don't you ever do that, what I just did. Don't you ever do that.
Oh my God.
I don't know what got into me.
You should eat more ice cream. Yes, please don't ever do that again. What the world? Oh my God.
I was like, didn't even recognize myself because I felt like my children's lives are at risk.
Yeah.
Or, or something. And then I figured they were about to get a beat down by any means necessary.
Well, I understand. It's family. What can you do? I get it. I get it.
But I'm going to work on my. That's probably why I need to find some things that are calming and
Yeah.
soothing, so I don't blow up like that. I mean, for the record, folks, I'm not. I don't go blowing up like that. You know.
You may be wondering, like I am, people. I'm just saying.
Special circumstances. But now back to family vacation. On side note, we'll have to talk for real because Michael and I are thinking about it took me a long time to even talk to him to get into the water to do a cruise because he's like water for days. But it took a good 10 years or something like that. 10, 14, something like a lot of years.
Wow.
But he finally did it and then he enjoyed it. It was like, okay, but then after COVID, he's like, well, we'll never do that again. But now I'm excited about it. And so we'll have to talk. That'll be kind of a fun thing because everybody can do something to do.
Absolutely. So we went on a cruise not long after after we got married, and we did all kind of crazy things. We even did what is it?
Snorkeling?
What is it when you call
Snorkeling?
And I'm a non-swimmer, and I am a non-swimmer. So yes, we went snorkeling. Yes. I know you'd be like, what you did? Yes, for the person who doesn't get in the water at all, we snorkeled. I mean, even to the point of taking pictures under the water of the fish that are, swimming with you, that kind of stuff. Oh, it was great. It was great.
See, I need you guys to come with me on vacation to get me out of me and Michael, because we're bad for each other. We'll talk each other out of stuff before we talk each other into stuff. But so we actually signed ourselves up for snorkeling. Got the whole suit, got the stuff to go on. And we both were like,
yeah.
I ain't getting in there.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Terrible.
There to encourage us, maybe, but we were like, I'm not, and I'm a swimmer. I can swim. He kind of can. He can not drown.
I cannot drown. I don't do that. I don't do that. Nope. That fear of the water, I just no. So yeah. So we definitely will. We definitely will, because we are adventuresome. So we like to do. We like to do that. Fun stuff. Yeah. Well, for real. So,
Dre,
you are cracking me up with this man.
Yeah, I'm not kidding around. After this live, I want to talk to you more about it.
Yeah. But I said I'm laughing at you because you're cracking me up as you're fanning. You're cracking me up.
It's hot. You don't feel the heat from deep down inside. Jay, now listen, I got these lights too in here. Like I have these lights.
Yeah.
They get really hot, but also there's the heat deep down inside of me that just seems never ending sometimes. Like it don't ever go away.
Oh my gosh. You're cracking me up. I shouldn't laugh. I'm sorry, but you're cracking me up. I'm trying not to. So
I can't believe I'm usually cold all the time, but some days I'm just like really on fire. Like right now.
Wow. Well, so let me say this before whatever time, I don't know what your time is like, but I have to say this because I'm so proud of you and what you're doing. I remember your creative energy, and you always had, so you talked about being an artist, you always had these ideas of things you could do, so you talk about drawing. I don't know if your viewers know that you've designed clothes, that you modeled. I don't know if they know about the fashion shows. By the way, I just happened to find the program for the fashion show that yes, I found it. I did. I'm like, oh wow, that's hilarious. Okay, you did all that. And I mean, so to see you doing what you're doing right now, I'm so proud of you, because I feel like, even if it took years and seasons or whatever, I'm watching you live in your element. And that's so exciting, you know. You're not just kind of letting it pass you by, you know. So congrats on what you're doing. Absolutely.
Oh, thank you, Dre. Well, you know, what's so funny is like all things like you said, like how you see parts of your mom and your dad all in you. Like I've seen in my life, for me, parts of things that I did, I didn't realize what they were building up to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like working for the radio station or working for the TV station, not knowing what that was really about. What is that about? Or you know what I mean? Or and I joke, but this is serious. Like when I was in fact I just talked about this in a speak I was doing. I was I would create stories in my head, like a whole story in my head with all the different people and characters. And you can treat. And then I'll record them, all the different voices and all the characters on a cassette tape. I was maybe in 5th grade or something, 6th grade. I would talk all the parts. It could be Uncle Jojo. It could be like Clarice. It could be all the different people all in my head. I would record it and do all the stories. And then, and this is my, you know how you, and then some things would be bad things because as a kid, I'm like, I felt creative enough. I'm going to do it because, you know, stuff that I would find I wasn't supposed to find, they're my outlet there. Okay. So all different kind of storylines. And then I would record these stories and go to, we got Mary Watson. So, hey, Mary, your Auntie Linda used to
Mary Watson.
Yeah, she's online. She said, hey, she said, Andre. And then Keisha Winston and Juanita said, Andre. Everybody says, hey. But Mary Watson's aunt, I don't know if she knows this about our connection, but her aunt is like my mom's best friend. And so when Auntie Linda retired from where, you know, my mom and they used to work together, she would babysit us. And babysit's kind of a strong word because we were older, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like just kind of keep us out of trouble kind of thing. And I would record these things and play it for the group of kids that were there. And they were all up. It was like I was like the people. I was the entertainment at daycare. You probably didn't know it. But I've always had all these things in my head. I've wanted to write plays, and then Michael is creative himself. When we first got together, we talked about like writing a play, but we can't decide on what type of play. We can't agree on a play. And how do you write a play? Like it's daunting. But the thing is, it's a gift that was given to me, and I feel like I don't care how old I am. You're like, I'm gonna write this thing play. Some by crook or schnook. Is that a thing?
Right. Right.
Hook or crook. Snook.
Right.
Anyway, like it was like instilled in me like way back long ago, and now I'm finding the courage really to kind of like just do it. You know what I mean? Now I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna just do it. But yeah, that's so funny that you said that. But yeah, I have stories in my head, and I would do that when I was a little kid. I used to like to make people laugh, and sometimes not on purpose, sometimes unfortunately.
Yeah, I remember some of that. I remember.
There it is. Thank you, Keisha. By hook or crook, I'm gonna write a play. Okay, by hook or crook. I'm gonna say that again this week because I like saying that. By hook.
So that's just another thing that we can partner on, because I've actually written 3 plays.
You have?
And yes, I have, and really enjoyed them. And in fact, one play we actually, our church actually did it, and we ended up taking it into the jail. Into the jail let us come in and actually do this. Yeah, it was, yeah. Wow. Yeah, so So yeah. So I really enjoy doing that. So much for us to connect on. Look at this. Look at this.
I want to do a one-woman stand-up show
Ooh.
too.
Ooh.
I do.
We will laugh at you with you.
It could be part of it will be funny. Some might not be funny, but I want to do that. I think that will be therapeutic for me. But I don't know how to begin to do that. So anyway, if you're listening, if you know how to begin to do that, he didn't praise dance with his wife. Keisha said he didn't praise dance with his wife. Andre, how come we didn't? Oh, Keisha. Oh, he did. Oh, he did. Oh, you praise dance. How are you, Dre? What would Kyra say about this?
Don't ask oh guys, it's too late. Don't ask those questions. You're reading the chat. Don't ask those questions. Listen, I told you she's a dancer. And so are my daughter and son. Listen, all I'm gonna say is, hey, I had the courage to get out there and do it. Don't look at the chat. Don't look at the chat.
Well,
see, I told you, don't look at the chat. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that right now. The important part is, as a family, we got out there and did it. We even did one as a couple. So, hey, listen. Hey, there you go. Now, you won't be able to see that. And unfortunately, it got taken down off of the page, off the web page. Oh, darn. Too bad. It's not even able to be seen anymore.
Is there any way you can get that to me some kind of way? I just gotta see it. I just have to from my own eyes. I'm sorry. I'm just very curious.
This is why I was nervous.
Okay. Don't be nervous, Dre, because that was a lot of fun. And also, here's why I have to read the chat, because people are so excited to just see you, and I can't ignore
wow.
Just love you, like Mary from school, and Claudia and Tasha and
wow.
P.H.R.E.E.E, and Juanita. Remember Juanita and Dee Dee?
Absolutely. Yep. Oh my gosh.
You guys
Sex and family coming through
so he can see stuff. You're gonna have to, if you're writing a book, Drake. Okay, look, I know Tasha can attest to it. If you are writing a book, you need to get some kind of social media presence.
Okay. I know people say that. I know.
You have to do it.
Maybe eventually I'll have a staff that can do that, and I won't have to. So much goes by and back and forth, and people and
ignore.
Then you gotta answer.
Here's what you do, because to be honest with you, I am not naturally a social media person. To be honest, I do it kind of because it's a vehicle for which I use to do stuff. But algorithms and all that stuff, sometimes I have to talk to somebody that knows stuff about that. In fact, on my next talk, I have someone coming on. It's a joke, but it's not. He's going to show me how to do TikTok, because I don't know how to do TikTok. It's humorous. I don't know how to do TikTok, but he was like, "You have got to do TikTok. You got it." And I'm like, but it's almost like a means to an end. Like, and I use it to look at my family, and that's how I did it in the first place. We moved overseas. My friends and family were like, "You got to get on Facebook, because we're gonna miss things like your child's birth, and we're not gonna, we're gonna miss." Right. So that's kind of how it is for me. And I don't really get into a lot of, it's entertaining to see, but some of the stuff on Facebook, I don't get into, like, the gossipy or the fighting. It's entertaining, however, just saying. But like, I don't partake, but it's, I enjoy, that's sad to say. It's interesting to watch in the dynamic. It's like, you're saying, the world can see this, right? Sometimes I'm like, look, people, stop talking. Just stop talking.
Right. But that's like, half of it. That's a.
Just don't get into that stuff, and you'll be fine. Like, that's it.
Well, yeah, someday, somehow, somebody will make that happen. My first youngest brother, but the one in Georgia, who's the one that's 20 years younger. He's just like, yeah, man, you got to get all this stuff. You got to do it. You got to do it. So I'm sure that eventually, especially after he watches this, he probably already has one set up now already. Like, here's this page, whatever.
Yeah, I'm sorry, for real, you really do. And when your book comes out, like when we do live like this, I always post where they can find the book, you know what I mean, and all your social media stuff, so that so people can bless you with the purchasing your book. So all that, but here what we're gonna do is
by then,
you're not gonna go away because we got catching up to you unless Kyra is like, girl, get him off the thing. But I wish Kyra on here. I miss her too. But anyway, what we're going to do is wrap it up because I've kept you guys. This is like one of my longest ones, but I'm sorry. I haven't seen Dre in years. Like, this is like very special to me. And so we're just being free with it. But I am so glad that you guys got to see Dre and that, and he's doing fine. He's doing good. And I can't wait to see these books coming out. Like, I'm excited. They could be pretty. Anyway.
Well, thank you.
Parts of it, but I'm telling you, I'm always thinking, but but I'm so glad that you guys were able to join us, and Dre, I'm so glad that you that we talked you into this because I know this is not like your thing, but I'm so glad you did. I'm so glad you did.
And I have to thank you. I really do. It was a lot of fun. It's always a lot of fun to catch up, and this is one of the things that, you're talking about, finding the stuff for, for that to stay healthy and that kind of stuff, self-love. I didn't have any idea how much I would enjoy this,
See?
So again, just that engagement with friends and family. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. Despite the fact that I can imagine the comments that my wife had to put in there between them and my daughter, but that's a different story. And Keisha having to add stuff. No need for that, Keisha. No need. But thank you so much. And I'll look forward. I'll definitely be sure that when the book comes out. How all that stuff unfolds. So absolutely.
All right. Well, you stay there, and we're gonna say goodbye until next time. Bye, you guys.
Bye. Thanks for joining.